This is a hard topic to talk about. I'm so offended right now. Quick tip, if you're cutting a woods road, make sure you try and keep the turns out of it. Because when you're walking along, a turn doesn't seem very drastic. But as soon as you drive it with a skidoo or any other motorized vehicle, the turns become very, very obvious. So I'm just cleaning up these tops that are there and cutting up the wood and salvage it for next year for firewood. I've had a few cups of teas in this spot. Might as well have another one here today. Fire season is still on, so all the forest fires we've had around the world, all the last few years and this year. The last thing I want to do is start a forest fire, although up here in the north, it's probably the last thing that'll happen right now because it's so getting cold and damp. Apologize for the occasional vehicle you'll hear go by because I'm getting close to the road. Lots of questions about Chaga tea all the time. Look back through my video stream, you'll find a video there on how to collect and process Chaga. Well, I didn't really plan on making a video today, not of your topic, my take. I haven't done one in a while, and I've been cutting my wood path, continuing with the cutting of it, the past couple days. And of course, when you're sawing in the woods by yourself, chainsaw is noisy and you got your earmuffs on, and I'm thinking all the time, you know, I'm thinking about cutting wood and concentrating on that, but at the same time, I'm thinking about anything, you know, anything and everything. And I haven't done one of these videos in a while because I've been so busy with other things, and summer times are just hectic anyway. We all know what that's like, right? You guys offer me suggestions to talk about, and some of them are just regular run-of-the-mill things, and some of them are very, very hard to talk about, like today's topic. I'm not gonna lie. This is a hard topic to talk about. I'm so offended right now. How many times have you heard that lately? Well, is a daily thing now, right? It seems like things happen around the world and some things go worldwide and they stay popular for a while. Although the notion of being offended has been around for forever, as long as people have had feelings. But it seems now it's at the top of the scale. Everybody seems to be going around on eggshells all the time because you're scared you're going to offend someone. And people are so easily offended these days. And I don't know why that is. And again, anything I say here is just one person's take, one insignificant truck porter's take, which means nothing. But it's just my thoughts today, and it's just an expression of what some of you guys asked me to talk about. And it's extremely hard because if you say something, people will be offended. If you don't say anything, people will be offended. And it's everywhere now. I've worked in the public service for over 30 years. Now, if you ever want to offend someone or feel offended, work in the public service for 30 years. And on top of that, I've worked as an officer. So myself personally, I am probably the least offendable person that you could meet, because I've had so much stuff said to me over the years by people who intentionally try it and others who didn't try it, that I don't harbor what someone says anymore. Because you realize very quickly in life, especially as you get older, that you will never please everyone. You will always offend someone. My ultimate example of this is, I say to people who feel offended and they tell me about it. If you order a pizza and there's 4 people in the room, there's always a debate about toppings, right? And at the end of the order, when the pizza comes, there's at least one person who feels a little, a little left out. I wasn't all about them green peppers. And they may not come, they'll probably still eat the pizza. But at the same time, they're thinking about it. And they may just not come back for another pizza if you're ordering. Hi, Grilly. You're waiting for the food, aren't you? It's to the point now, I know you watch worldwide, and you speak about being an officer. You have a job to fill any law enforcement jobs now because people are scared for their jobs. School teachers, anything in the public profession is really hard now to fill those jobs. They're lacking right across Canada and around the world probably because people are scared. They're so scared they're going to say something. And today, if you say something unintentionally, it's the same consequence as if you said it intentionally. And you bear personally and professionally unbelievable consequences to the point you could lose your job for saying one wrong word. A fly in my tea. So what is it to offend someone? If I looked at someone and said, I don't like your shirt. Those shirts are the most uncomfortable things. Why are you wearing that shirt? I can see that guy would be offended, wouldn't he? I'm intentionally saying something to him that would be seen as offensive. However, if that same guy was wearing a jacket, I had no idea what type of shirt he had underneath, and I said, man, I tried on one of those brand X t-shirts the other day. They were the worst t-shirts ever. Like, why would anybody want to wear a t-shirt like that? I don't understand it. And then the guy opens up his coat, and he's wearing the shirt. Yes, you said the words, but you did not mean to offend that person at all. So that person who's wearing the shirt at this point has the option of letting that really get to him and tell everybody else and be severely offended and then go around and not speak to the guy anymore because he said something even though it was unintentional. Or you can just say, boy, I got 2 of them. Would you like to have one? Because the guy didn't mean to say it. It wasn't intentional. But this day and age, even if you catch someone in an unintentional line like that, it's the same consequence. It's the same charge. And why have we got like that? People make mistakes. I can't tell you how many times the expression is putting foot in your mouth. I have 2 feet in my mouth almost every day because I just say something because we want to communicate with people on some sort of level. And no matter what, you'll offend someone. So what do we do with this? Well, I think we have to let this offending thing run its course in the world. You're not going to change it. The guy who mentioned this to me the other day, he said, why have we gotten like that? And I was thinking about this just now as I was sawing, and that's what prompted me to do this video, actually. I thought of an outlandish example that I'd like to share with you guys. And tell me if you think it's ludicrous. It doesn't matter to me, but sometimes today's world, at least in this part of the world where I am, we are outrageously comfortable now. We have to work for very little these days. There's no survival skills necessary really anymore. You work. Everything is literally at your fingertips. You don't even have to leave the house now. You can do all your banking on your phone or you're communicating. You can work from home on your computer. We don't need to go anywhere or do anything. We are so comfortable. And when you get to that point where you're used to a certain level of comfort, then anything that takes you off of that comfort level, even the littlest blip, oh my, I'm taking off my comfort stool here. So here's the example that I just made up in my mind of how to illustrate this. Let's say you get invited out to a coffee house with another couple. So you and your spouse, you dress up and you say, well, I haven't been to a coffee house in a while, and I think I'll kind of dress up, So you dig deep into your closet, you look through your shirts, most of them you don't even wear because you have so many if you're like me. So you come across this beautiful new white t-shirt that you've never worn before. And you say, I'm going to put this on today. And you put on your beautiful white shirt and you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, this shirt looks nice. Looks kind of dapper. That's a word I never ever used, by the way. I have no idea why I used it that time. So you go to the coffee house and you sit over in the corner, and there's a little band over in the corner just playing some soft music. The lights are kind of dim in there. There's people coming and going. It's a coffee house. People coming in with their takeout, and they're going out with their coffee, and they're waving, hi Fred and hi Joe, you know. But you're over in the corner talking to your friends. You're having a lovely time with your beautiful white t-shirt on. Unbeknownst to you and behind you, a guy comes in with a pair of coveralls. He's a working man, you know. He comes in and he goes over and picks up his coffee at the counter, and he comes over and he stops. And all of a sudden he comes over and he looks at it and says, hey Joe, is that you? And you look up at the guy, and it's like a guy you hadn't seen in 20 years since high school. And you say, hey, Fred, what's happening, man? So Joe reaches down. Again, he's a working man with a set of coveralls, and his hands are dirty. But he's so excited to see you. He reaches down, and he just pats you on the arm and says, it's so good to see you, Joe. Because he's so excited to see you. And it should be the most joyous reunion here. Someone you hadn't seen in 20 years, a good friend of yours. You had no idea what happened to the person. And when you feel the hand go on your arm, that wonderful welcome greeting, he pulls his hand off, and you look down at your beautiful white shirt, and there's a handprint there with grease on it. And all of a sudden, this beautiful cafe with the friends you're having company with, and this guy you haven't seen in 20 years, is somehow clouded over by the fact that this guy reached down and soiled your shirt. How dare he? How dare that guy touch my shirt? So all of a sudden, everything is canceled out that day. That joyous reunion. Like, instead of being like, how you been? What's going on? Don't forget about the shirt. How was it going, man? Like, what's happening in your life? How have you been? That's gone. Because you're offended. And you lose the complete moment. Because you chose to let it bother you. Here comes another truck. I hate being next to the highway. Just reminds me of civilization and noise. What are you doing, you little weasel? Okay, you can get down any time now. Trying to make a video here. Now let's hit the reverse button here. Let's look at the same example. You get invited out to the coffee house, you put on your beautiful white shirt, you go to the coffee house, you have a wonderful time with the other couple that you're spending time with. So much so, it's still mid-afternoon, and the couple suggests that you go for a walk down by the riverside in one of the municipal parks. Off you go. Beautiful sunny afternoon, you're still chatting with your friends, your spouse is next to you, everything in life is good. You're walking down next to the river. There's a lot of water on that day. And all of a sudden, your buddy that's there with you, and he looks down and says, boy, look at the fish in the river. Like, I didn't realize there were fish in this river. And when you go down with your white shirt on, you see the fish, and you slip in the river. When I say you fell in the river, you got swept away by the river. Again, there's a lot of water on, there's a lot of current. Your friends try to reach out and grab you, but just as fast as that, you're swept away. And now you're floating downstream, and you're bumping off rocks, and you're kind of in shock now because the water is so cold, and you don't know what just happened to you. It happened so fast. And you tumble and roll down the river, and your friends are back there. They can't even catch up to you. And now you're left, and you're lost, and you're alone, and you don't know if you're going to make it or not. Unbeknownst to you, down below the river, there's a construction crew that are working on putting a bridge across that same river. And the guy who I talked about in the cafe, the Fred guy with the coveralls on, he's working on that construction crew, building that bridge. He sees a person floating down the river. What does he do? He doesn't give it a second thought. He reaches down with that greasy working hand and holds onto your shirt and pulls you up out of the water and into safety. He saved your life with his greasy hand on your brand new white shirt. How do you think you'd feel? Would you be offended? Absolutely not. You were out of your comfort zone. In the first example I gave, you were in the epitome of comfort and somebody slightly took you out. But if you're uncomfortable and someone helps you out a little bit, the exact same people, the same shirt, the same hand, but all of a sudden you accept it, and you've never been so happy to be held on and your shirt soiled. You couldn't care less about it. See, the way I see it, being offended can be very relative to what's happening around you. And you can choose to look at it in one way or the other, to accept or look past the fact that people are just human beings after all, and they make mistakes. Take a moment, give some forgiveness, and move on. You're not going to let 5 seconds of your day ruin the rest of the 23 plus hours that you have to spend in it. Well, that's the last mouthful of my tea. I've had a good break. I've cooled down. It's still early in the morning. I'm going to work for another hour or two before it gets really hot today. It's a fall, beautiful day. Anyway, guys, that's my humble take on your guys' topic. Please don't leave me any harsh comments. If you do, it won't offend me. It's not going to help anyway. Be nice to people. And it's now fall season. I'm going moose hunting and caribou hunting in a couple weeks. And I can't wait to get on the road, and I'm going to film that and show you guys. I hope you guys have the best day ever, and I hope you don't get offended by someone. And until the next video, take care of each other, get outside and enjoy everything outdoors. And we'll see you next time, guaranteed.
We'll see you next time, guaranteed.
No food today, my doggies. I hope you're not offended.
Get outside and enjoy.